Special Agent Sam Carter opened the vault door, expecting cash. He found nothing but eerie silence and empty racks. The alarms had been disabled, flawlessly. On the wall, written in bold black letters, a chilling message. We always catch the little fish. Today, you met the shark. His blood ran cold. He swallowed hard, his heart pounding with dread, as the gravity of that taunt set in. The FBI was about to face a challenge unlike any before. Weeks earlier, on an ordinary Tuesday, Carter was deep into investigating a minor drug ring on Wall Street. He prided himself on playing it by the book. No shortcuts, no tricks. He rarely, if ever, bent the rules. That strict discipline was about to be tested. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of the city, a different team was gearing up. In a dim warehouse loft, a group of 6 expert thieves huddled around blueprints of the Federal Reserve's high-security vault. The leader, Amelia Reyes, traced the armored doors with a fingertip. She was a former intelligence analyst who believed justice was long overdue. Halfway across town, Carter was briefing his partner, Agent Lucas Reed, on a routine bust. He didn't notice the curious van parked a few blocks away, the one with a covert FBI tracking device. When the call came in about the heist in progress, Carter raced to the scene, heart pounding. As sirens wailed, he memorized every detail. A security guard bound and unconscious, cameras looping on old footage, and a vault door swinging open without a fight. The thieves moved with military precision. Every instinct screamed that this was no ordinary break-in. Amelia slipped away into the night, vanishing like a shadow. Carter and Reed burst into the vault just moments too late. Amelia had vanished into the night. All that remained was the taunting message on the wall. Carter's mind spun with questions. The FBI never left scenes like this with no leads. Reed found a small clue, a rare synthetic fiber snagged on a door handle. Carter froze. He recognized it from an old case file. Pride and fear warred inside him as he realized the scope of the breach. This fiber wasn't sold anywhere in the city. Someone had inside knowledge. Carter dove into the investigation. Every lead pointed to ghosts. He discovered the broken door locks had been reset by a code only an insider would know. Night after night, he sat in darkness, studying blueprints of the vault, replaying security feeds, trying to anticipate the thieves' next move. He felt a growing knot in his stomach. The FBI was being outsmarted. He even wondered, in the quiet of midnight, if maybe the criminals were right about something. He slept fitfully that night, haunted by a nightmare of his own creation. His conscience ached, but he kept his doubts to himself. Meanwhile, Amelia's team laid low in the city's tunnels. Malik, the getaway driver, had the van parked among the subway cars. The crew celebrated quietly, splitting up the take and flashing wry smiles. "This was too easy," said James, the tech expert, wiping sweat from his brow. Amelia nodded but didn't smile. Subway lights flickered nearby, but Amelia and her crew remained focused on the plan. She had one more target in mind: the Fort George Federal Reserve branch downtown, often called Gotham's Vault. It was empty for renovations. A perfect time to strike. The quiet hallways would not be empty for long. By morning, they'd be legend. Later that week, Carter gathered his squad in the command center. On the table lay crime scene photos and blurred security footage. "They know our systems," Carter said, frustration in his voice. "One of us is leaking intel," Reed added. "Maybe they've got a mole, or someone on the inside feeding them codes." Every agent knew the Bureau's reputation was on the line. The enormity of the situation was not lost on any of them. They tightened protocols, scanned backgrounds, and banned any unscheduled communications. FBI HQ was on alert like never before. On a rainy Thursday night, Amelia made her move. She arrived at Fort George dressed as an inspector with forged ID. Using her analyst skills, she bypassed 7 layers of electronic security. Inside, the vault gleamed under a single flashlight. Amelia steadied her breath, aware that every second counted. Amelia tapped her comlink. Phase 2 in progress. Let's keep it tight, she whispered to Malik outside. From a hidden compartment in her coat, she pulled out specialized drills. Just then, Carter's surveillance team detected a data spike at the building's network hub. The building around her seemed eerily still. In the vault, Amelia drilled the final latch. The door creaked open. Crisp piles of cash and stacks of gold were in front of her. She smiled briefly, proud but haunted. One last job, she muttered. But as she reached out, the lights flickered. Carter's FBI team burst through the entrance, guns drawn. The surprise was total. "Hands where I can see them!" Carter shouted, stepping forward. For a split second, Carter saw not a criminal, but a person with unwavering determination. His nerves screamed at the sight of Amelia standing there with reckless determination. Amelia raised her hands slowly. "Agent Carter," she said calmly, "I hoped you'd meet me here." Around Carter, officers cuffed the rest of the crew. Malik's face turned pale as he dropped his gun, and James reluctantly set down his drill. Carter inched closer, his gun still aimed, but recognition flickering in his eyes. "Why, Amelia? Why do this?" he demanded. Amelia glanced at the bundles of cash. "Because sometimes the rules protect the wrong people," she answered. "This bank's money? Ill-gotten. It was our turn to deliver the justice you never could." Her words hung in the air. Carter thought back to all he'd believed. He felt something crack inside him. But duty was duty. Carter saw the truth in her eyes, but he had a job to do. Before he could issue another command, a shot rang out. It was Reed, behind Carter. In the chaos, a small firefight erupted. A stray bullet shattered the surveillance monitor behind Amelia, splintering the glass wall. Carter turned, heart pounding. Reed was down, blood blossoming on his chest. "No!" Carter shouted. Amelia screamed, diving to Reed's side. Instantly, everything went dark. A hushed silence fell. Carter watched blood ooze from Reed's lips as Amelia cradled his head, fear in her eyes. "Please, Agent Reed, stay with me," she pleaded. Reed coughed, then whispered, "They aren't all like this, Sam." His voice trailed off. Carter felt regret and rage crushing him. For Carter, time itself seemed to stop. In one mad second, he realized the extent of the night's disaster. His partner was dying before him because of this chase. Before Carter could react, Amelia bolted for the open vault. Sirens blared. In a heartbeat, she vanished behind the steel door with all the money. Carter shouted after her, but she was gone. The remaining crew members surrendered, dropping to their knees. Carter and the FBI team rushed Reed to an ambulance, sirens wailing. Reed's last breath was a promise. "You have to fix this." Carter clenched his jaw as the doors slammed shut on the ambulance. Back at FBI HQ, Carter stood before a crisis meeting. Cameras clicked as the director gave a solemn statement. The robbery of Fort George's vault and the shooting of an agent had shaken everyone. The world now watched the FBI on the defensive. Carter remembered Amelia's words and Reed's dying whisper. Something had to change. Agents were instructed to round up all members of the crew. Carter headed to the evidence room. Pressure was mounting on the bureau at every level. Later, alone under harsh fluorescent lights, Carter reviewed evidence on one of the suspects, a small thumb drive found in Amelia's car. He plugged it in. Line after line, files scrolled by on the screen. His heart sank. The drive contained banking transactions, surveillance logs, internal memos, all proof that corrupt politicians and businessmen had funneled money into hush-hush accounts. Worse, there were documents implicating some FBI officials, apparently paid off to look the other way. Carter's eyes widened as he stared at the names on the screen. These were people he had trusted. The betrayal burned in him like acid. He realized the robbery was just part of a larger web of corruption, a truth the FBI had never seen coming. He ran his hands through his hair, feeling the weight of what he was uncovering. The next morning, the news headlines blared, "Federal Reserve Heist. FBI faces questions on corruption." An emergency congressional hearing was called. Carter testified, his voice steady but heavy. He revealed the truths in that drive, forcing his bosses to admit faults. Public trust was shaken. The FBI director announced new reforms, tighter oversight, transparent policies, and an end to bending the rules for the powerful. Cameras flashed, and microphones were thrust forward as agents and witnesses were grilled. Journalists called it a watershed moment for the Bureau.
Meanwhile, Amelia and her remaining crew watched the chaos unfold from a safe house. They had disappeared into the shadows right after the heist. Malik, bandaged but alive, handed Amelia a newspaper. FBI to overhaul Code of Conduct. Amelia let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Around her, the team quietly celebrated a victory, mixed with sorrow. They exchanged tense glances as they quietly absorbed the significance of their victory. For the first time, they felt something like relief. Their mission had forced change. "We may have lost James, and Malik got hurt," she said softly, "but Reed's belief in doing what's right, he made a difference." They nodded, all of them feeling Reed's spirit in that quiet moment. In the weeks that followed, Carter walked the halls of FBI headquarters with a changed perspective. Every agent now carried a body camera and walked badge first under the new rules. The case of the ghost thieves became a legend inside the Bureau. At his desk, Carter stared at a photo of Reed on the vault floor, a reminder of that night. He asked himself, if we hadn't listened, would Reed still be alive? The memory of Reed's sacrifice lingered in every officer's mind. As he stepped out into the morning sunshine, the city around him buzzed with a new energy. Gone was the complacent confidence of the past. In its place was resolve. He adjusted his tie and quietly vowed that Reed's death would not be in vain. Now, every rule in the FBI's handbook carried a deeper meaning. They had learned something priceless. Justice isn't about blind obedience to rules. It's about doing what's right. Carter headed to his car, glancing out at the city he loved. In that silent moment, he decided this ordeal would not be wasted. The FBI had changed forever, he thought. And it all began with one robbery. One that reminded them why they existed in the first place. Carter closed the door, took a deep breath, and let himself out onto the quiet street. He knew this would be a story retold for years to come, a reminder that even the mightiest can be humbled. Thank you for watching till the end. If you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone else who'd find it fascinating. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. After all, knowledge is one of our best defenses against the forces that drive people to crime.